The McDonald's snack wrap is back. You brought it back. Ranch snack wrap. Spicy snack wrap. You broke the internet for a snack. Snack wrap is back. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
This Steve Jones Show podcast is now loading. The Steve Jones Show podcast is presented by Sunbury Motor Company, Purdy Insurance, and Brewers Outlet. Bringing you an in-depth look at Penn State sports and more. This is the Steve Jones Show on News Radio 1070 WKOK. The Steve Jones Show is presented by Sunbury Motor Company, Purdy Insurance, and Brewers Outlet. Now from the Sunbury Motors Studio, here's Steve Jones.
This half hour being brought to you by our good friends at Purdy Insurance, Market Street in Sunbury. Go to purdyinsurance.com, home of the Purdy Memorial Golf Tournament. At the Susquehanna Valley Country Club, Auto, Home, Life, Business, Boat, Motorcycle, RV, Medicare products. They make sure you're fully insured. They organize your insurance. They do everything they can to save you money. And by the way, the Purdy Memorial Golf Tournament does benefit the greater Susquehanna Valley YMCA. All at Purdy Insurance, Market Street in Sunbury. Go to purdyinsurance.com. Mike Poorman, my good friend, joins me. Mike, it's so great to have you back on the show. Welcome.
Well, it's great to be welcomed, and I got a dose of Steve Jones yesterday afternoon.
What was I doing yesterday?
You had a wonderful performance as the guest on LeVar Arrington's show.
Oh, yeah.
The tables were turned, Mr. Jones.
Yes, we taped that 3 weeks ago. I didn't know it was out, but yeah, it was taped 3 weeks ago. LeVar and I had a blast. I think the world of the guy.
It was fun to watch, and I'm not getting rid of Jack today, but if you're a decade from now, LeVar may be a good fit in the booth.
He'd be a great fit. He would do a tremendous job. Smart, articulate, knows the game, great instincts. Yeah, but I'm currently happy with the incredible individual I work with now. So,
okay, I'm not trying to get. I'm a big Jack fan, but it was a fun watch. It's on the. I'm going to give Penn State a plug on the new Roar Plus channel, and I just subscribed yesterday.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you for the kind words. LeVar did a great job with it, as did Brenna Mathers, who's the one that helped put it together. So, Mike, it's a media day tomorrow. No questions over the first 2 days are going to be answered here in all this. But what are you looking for specifically in this camp, that can tell you that they're putting themselves on a track?
Good question. I in preparation for Saturday, there's a couple things I do to get ready, and one is a ready list of questions. And everyone's going to ask national championship, and you're going to get the company line, as you should. My question is, what's the vibe inside Lash Building? And it's hopefully it's specific but general enough to get a sense on what. And I know that you're inside the building a lot, but for the folks who cover the team, we are not. So to me, that will how they respond to what the vibe is, as opposed to asking. We know what the goal is, but what's the vibe?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think that's going to be interesting because it's one thing the great Russ Rose always imparted to me, and he had a run of 4 straight years where they won the national championship. And he said a big job for him when he had so many returning players was to impart to them that you are 0-0 and it's a brand new season. Last season doesn't help you. That was always his philosophy, Mike.
Well, it's kind of the Eagles. With the Eagles, right now with Saquon and company, it's, you're not defending champions, you're attacking champions. And although Penn State was literally a play or drive away from the national championship game, because I'm reminded of Terry Smith is so smart. And
yes.
Whenever I'm looking for super insight and historical context, you go to the OG, and one of my favorite lines from him, and I think this goes hand in hand with the vibe, it's the best teams are the player-led teams. Mm-hmm. And I think this is a player-led team. And I'm going to ask you, in some ways, there's similarities to the 86 team where there were, 14, 15 guys came back for a fifth year.
Yeah,
so it's a very mature team, and it's a veteran-driven team, right?
Well, when you sit there and you look at the 85 to 86 team, I think people were surprised at the number of people that came back, starting with Shane Conlon. But there are others that also came back in that team that would have been draft eligible. And after losing the Orange Bowl game, they seem to be committed, that team, to coming back and playing. This has been very much the same story here with so many guys back. And thus, to me, it's their job, Mike, to communicate to the younger players that when James talks about the 1-0, which can be mocked by people from the outside, but there's a reason why he does it especially inside, that they can tell him, hey, look, 1-0 means 1-0, which means if you're playing Northern Illinois, you play them, you got to win the game.
Good clawback on that, Steve Jones. I like that. Just out of the thin air, you just thought of Northern Illinois.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they put themselves in a must-win every week after that game. If Notre Dame had lost one more game, they would not have made the playoff.
You're absolutely right.
Because it would have been held against them the entire time. How do you view the backup quarterback situation? And if whomever gets that spot, do you end up, for example, seeing a scenario like the way Drew Aller was used his freshman year?
Yeah, maybe not the very first game when it's super tight like it was at Purdue. But, yeah, you're going to see a lot of both of those guys, and they're so very different. And it's on my ready list of potential stories, and it's really – is it going to be Iowa? What year was that, 21? Or Wisconsin – or was it Iowa 22? Wisconsin of 24. Those are the two extremes, and so which one are you going to be ready for? And Grunk and Smolik are so very different in so many ways. I think you're obviously astute. I think that's a storyline, to use a line from James, that people aren't talking enough about.
The transfer receivers and the tight end situation, how do you view that? Well,
James is all in, obviously, on Dinkins, and I think that the upgrade at tight end, I mean, Tyler could and was willing to do anything, but I think Dinkins is a great, hand-in-the-ground blocker, and, Rappley's going to be is going to be finally healthy. That was a long comeback, and I think Reynolds could be Tyler Warren, and we've seen pieces of it, Tyler Warren Jr. So overall, when you throw in the wide receivers and you throw in Nick and maybe even some of Fat, there are a lot of maybe not A-plus weapons, but there's a lot of A-B weapons, and I think that's going to give Drew much of a greater opportunity to succeed, not having to rely on Tyler.
Well, here's the next part. James talks about ending games on Penn State's terms, which they did, for example, against Boise State and so forth. What does this offensive line mean to the ability to end games on Penn State's terms?
I love this offensive line on so many levels. This offensive line, it may not be Munchak, Farrell, Romano, but there's shades of that because these are big guys. These are smart guys. These are real Penn State guys. These are good guys. These are older guys. They're committed guys. And even James Cooper Cousins, he's a young guy with an old soul. So I think that, this offensive line is underrated. And I think they will have the ability to go like Michigan did a couple years ago, right? If they have to run 32 straight running plays, they can get it done. This offense, I'm thinking, on my story list, Steve, for Saturday, and this is not a cheerleader, this is the truth. I love this offensive line. Yeah. And it's a, you know them. This is a great group of guys with massive potential.
And depth.
And great camaraderie, too, which is so key at that position.
And depth. You can't negotiate a 16-game season, because we just watched a 16-game season, where if you don't have depth, you're not going to have a shot. I mean, look, K.J. Winston lasted 5 quarters last year.
Well, Ryan Day, I heard the quote twice from him. Ryan Day, when he was talking about the effects of the season, he said exactly what you did, is the depth. And they've lost early and then late. They lost 2 great offensive linemen, Ohio State, and still won the national title.
That's
so
right.
I think that depth, that retention, that injury, Ohio State is the perfect comp for that. They worked their way through that.
All right, so how interested are you to hear what Jim Knowles says about his defense and about his players that he's plugging into the defense now that he's had a spring and a couple of practices to plug some things in?
I want to hear what he has to say about the linebackers.
Yeah.
Dom is always Dom, but Campbell's new, and by all indications, for the first time in maybe a year almost, Tony Rojas is healthy. So I'd love to hear his assessment and there's other guys, but those are the main 3. I'd love to hear his assessment of what he thinks of that unit.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting because when you do get a chance to see Campbell, let me tell you what sticks out about him right away. Just looking at him. I don't mean just playing, because I know he can play, but how thick his legs are. I mean, my goodness, it's Mike. It's you're like, holy mackerel. It's a little different look at linebacker compared to some other guys. Everybody's built differently, but still. What about the secondary, which has been such a positive for Penn State over the years? How do you mentioned Terry Smith. How do you look at that?
Well, let me ask you one more thing about Campbell, because you've seen him. You've been at the practices so far. Is there a comp for this kid? Can you think of a comp?
No, he's his own guy. I mean, I saw him play some at North Carolina, especially in the Minnesota game, because I definitely watched that game. He had a couple of sacks in that game, so he has a burst to get through the hole and get to the quarterback. I thought he played the run pretty well. And I know at the end of the year he was actually playing better than at the beginning, because at the beginning of the year he was a bit banged up. But I think he's definitely, with Wiley, with DeLuca, with Rojas, with Specca, and others, Penn State actually has some depth at linebacker, and he helped improve. In my opinion, Mike, he helped improve it.
Well, Specca's an interesting wild card too. But the secondary, yeah, they're deep, and Knowles is going to do a lot of things with them. I'm really interested in watching King Mack. I love to watch him when he was here 2 years ago. I mean, athletic and exciting, and so I'm excited to see him in practice. I'm excited to see how he interacts. And it's kind of, for me, it's a cool storyline, right? I mean, this kid left, and he left for a name brand, and then he's coming back with his eyes wide open. The grass is not greener, or the grass isn't redder down there. So I love, and I know you talked to LeVar about that. I think that's a very cool storyline.
No, it is a very cool storyline without question. How close a look have you taken of the stadium, the part that they're building, especially the temporary part? And if you have seen it, what did you think of it?
Thanks for asking. I'm a big walker, so at least twice a week I'll walk on campus, and I take little videos that I post on Twitter of the progress at the stadium. In the past week, maybe the last 10 days, they've put almost all the temporary bleachers up and the lighting. But the traffic, the interest of folks, like I'll post a 26-second video, this is what the stadium looks like today. I'll get 30,000, 40,000 views. So there's intense interest in that. I am the comments, and even me, as you look at the temporary bleachers that are up, they're free form. I'm anxious to see a couple things. What happens during the whiteout? And then this is a small one, but it's not exactly a bowl. There are gaps. Mm-hmm. So I'm wondering, it's not going to come into play early, but I'm wondering if the gaps on the west side with the temporary bleachers, that's going to create a different atmosphere, not only among the fans, but literally among the wind, whether that's an impact in the stadium, because you well know from your vantage point, and I got a question about your vantage point, that with the bowl, the winds are contained to a certain degree.
Right.
And by the way, where is your vantage point going to be, Steve Jones?
It's going to be on the west side. They're building a temporary broadcast area for TV and the radios, including the opposing team radio. And so we should be just above the old permanent seating. So we should be it's actually a little bit lower than we were before. So that's what we'll be for 2 years. And then they're going to build a broadcast level in this new building that they're going to be putting up.
I'm excited by all that, I have to tell you.
Oh, I know. Believe me. I think Chris Wheeler, who did the Phillies for 37 years, and Chris and I are really, really good friends. And when they brought the press box down, and ironically, I had to go to Philadelphia because I had to do basketball the next day.
I love Wheels.
Wheels is the greatest, isn't he? And Wheels sent me a text, and he said, Steve, he says, how did you feel when the press box went down? Did you feel some nostalgia, or did you feel the same way when I saw the vet in rubble? And my response was the vet in rubble. Like I always would tell the other broadcasters, I said, hey, look, I know it's not your favorite, but it's our home. So, not going to criticize our home.
Well, it had to be WDFM, right?
Sure.
70-something that you called your first game from the press box?
Yeah, it would have been Texas A&M 1979. Curtis Dickey and Texas A&M. It's the first game I called.
I remember early in the season, a super sunny day. Yep. Wow.
He ran for 184 yards, a couple touchdowns. Penn State actually scored first, led the game 7-0. And then Texas A&M took over. But that was the first game I ever did. So, it's a long time ago.
That's crazy. Well, you've seen a thing or two, but it is exciting. Even if it's a cramped venue, smaller or whatever.
Yeah, I don't care about that.
And then you throw in this season. I've been working on a piece comparing this to 82 to 86 to 94. There's some interesting comparisons there.
Yeah, no, there is, without question. So, hey, we'll see how this plays out. It's a lot of fun, Mike. It's always a pleasure having you on. Because you always give such an interesting perspective, and you're so curious about everything, which is really cool. So, appreciate it.
Well, I know that's you. Anyway, tell LeVar that, yes, if and when Jack retires, I'm putting him forth to be your partner in the booth.
There you go. Okay, I'll let him know that.
All right. See you, buddy. Thanks.
Appreciate it. Mike Poorman joining us on the show today in this half hour, being brought to you by Purdy Insurance, Market Street in Sunbury. Go to purdyinsurance.com. Auto, home, light, business, boat, motorcycle, RV. Medicare products. They want to make sure you're fully insured. They want to make sure they do everything in their power to save you money. And, of course, they always give back to the community. The Purdy Memorial Golf Tournament at the Susquehanna Valley Country Club to benefit the Greater Susquehanna Valley YMCA here on News Radio 1070 WKOK.
Party time.
Hey, it's Paris. You know I love sparkly things, right? Like stars. Duh. And thanks to Hilton and Auto Camp, I just slept under them. Picture me, serving looks by the fire outside my luxurious Airstream, making s'mores with the kids, while a national park is our backdrop. The great outdoors meets Hilton hospitality. That's hot. Explore all the new ways to stay at Hilton.com. Hilton for the stay.
Game time or just fun time. Doesn't matter what time it is because it's Brewers Outlet time. The Beverage Supermarket has the area's largest beer selection. Imports, microbrews, ciders, and domestics. Pick from over 100 ice-cold 12-packs and dozens of 24-ounce singles. Soda, snacks, hot sauces, fresh roasted peanuts. Make it one-stop party shopping, and don't forget the pickle bar. So whatever you're celebrating or just doing it up, Brewers Outlet, Reagan Street, Sunbury wants to see you. And thank you for your years of patronage.
There's something to be said about a sale with a handshake, a service technician who really knows what he's doing. They can explain it in English what the problem is. There's nothing better than having that friend you could trust in the area. That's Sunbury Motors, where you get selection, knowledgeable salespeople, and prices that fit your budget, and more important, that friend you can trust. Welcome to Sunbury Motors, Kia, Ford, and Hyundai. You could shop other dealers and compare prices, but at Sunbury Motors, you get their lowest price promise. They research the current used vehicle market and guarantee their used car prices are the lowest. If you find a lower price, Sunbury Motors will beat it. 3 dealers all in one. See their full new and pre-owned inventory at sunburymotors.com. Pick out a vehicle you like and schedule your test drive online. Follow them on Facebook. Sunbury Motors Ford and Hyundai, North 4th Street, Sunbury, and Sunbury Motors Kia, routes 11 and 15 in Hummel's Wharf.
Hi, this is Season. For over 100 years, the Purdy Insurance Agency has been protecting families and businesses of the greater Susquehanna Valley and beyond. With the experience of our trained and knowledgeable staff, you can rest assured that your needs will be evaluated and met by some of the industry's best representatives. No matter what your insurance needs are, call Purdy Insurance today at 570-286-5855. Visit our website at purdyinsurance.com or check us out on Facebook to see what we can do for you.
An in-depth look at Penn State sports and more. This is the Steve Jones Show on News Radio 1070 WKOK. The Steve Jones Show is presented by Brewers Outlet, Sunbury Motor Company, and Purdy Insurance. Now from the Sunbury Motor Studio, here's Steve Jones.
Half hour brought to you by our good friends at Brewers Outlet, Reagan Street in Sunbury, the beverage supermarket. Imports, domestics, microbrews, the best selection of beer anywhere. Wine coolers, water, soft drinks, snacks. They roast their peanuts fresh and out every day. 6 great flavors of slushies. And not only that, but ready-to-drink cocktails. Jack Daniels, High Noon, Crown Royal, Pickle Bar led by the Barrels and the Dills, indeed second to none. It is all at Brewers Outlet, Reagan Street in Sunbury, the beverage supermarket. So there you are. Waiting for the King. We don't know what the King's availability is right now. Still waiting to see what the King's availability is.
And while you were talking to Mr. Poorman, Micah officially requested his trade.
Yes, of course he did. Yes, yes.
With a long statement, which I did not read yet.
Question is, Jerry Jones reading it?
So Somebody said can't wait for the Jones family to talk for the next 4 weeks why they can't pay Micah to all of a sudden I'm paying him $42 million a year the Wednesday before the season starts.
Yeah, you see that like the night before.
Uh-huh.
It's like, no, this isn't it.
Also, we spoke about the Twins earlier. They called up 8 players today.
They had no choice.
I know, but I'm just like, holy cow.
What were their options? What were their options?
You need a roster.
I mean, you're sitting there, you have nothing.
I was like, wow.
Holy mackerel. No?
Actually, somebody said the most tired person yesterday was a social media person who had to post all the thank you pictures.
Oh, yeah. Thanks for being here, everything you did, blah, 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 blah. Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah. I always love that.
That's my new favorite thing when somebody gets released.
Oh, yeah.
That's kind of, I feel like that kind of sticks the needle in more than thanks them.
Oh, goodness gracious. Yeah.
Your sports organization cares about everybody.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We care about you, all right. Yeah. It's a business. Now, the people around you, around the players, the people around them care.
Yes.
Right? But the management, no, they're a means to an end. You know? Yeah. I mean, that's what they are. They're a means to an end. So, unreal. Oh, well. Yeah. That's why we try to talk to people about the business of sports, and part of the business of sports is ESPN evidently has now reached its blockbuster deal with the NFL. And because they have, that means they're going to get Red Zone. You know? Yeah.
That really that concerns me just because if you pay for a certain cable tier on my system, you get Red Zone. Now I wonder.
Yeah, so do I. Yeah.
So I'm wondering if I'm losing Red Zone to ESPN Plus, which I don't have.
Yeah, I don't know. It's my concern is what they do with it. As I've told you, and I know that the people in the college communications have never been crazy about my view about this. But I don't think ESPN does a good job with sports. Now, the NFL and ESPN have both declined comment. Supposedly, it would be $29. The agreement coincides with ESPN's forthcoming direct-to-consumer service that will formally launch in the next few weeks. Will cost $29.99 a month. Yikes.
Nope.
No, I mean, I'm not going to watch it.
Nope.
It says it will allow subscribers to bypass cable or satellite providers, blah, 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 blah. I'm sorry. Right? Yeah?
I do wonder what didn't work out for these leagues, why they're all trying to get rid of their networks.
I don't know. That's a good question. I know Andrew Marchand, I believe, wrote an article in The Athletic about leagues shedding their networks. Because I always thought for them it was the ability to tell the story their way. Now, I realize you have some, like Ian Rappaport's a relatively independent guy, things like that. I mean, I understand that. But, yeah. That's going to be, but $29.99 a month for this? Look, I mean, Red Zone's a big deal.
Well, I think essentially what they're doing is it's not ESPN Plus per se. It's ESPN, the channel for people that don't have cable anymore.
Right.
Which I mean, well, I don't know if that's worth $35 a month either.
No.
I mean, how do you?
No.
Because I think you still get ESPN on like YouTube TV and such. So I don't understand, and I've read about this, and people don't understand what the benefit is of it now. I mean, I find it. We're nowhere near the point of not having over-the-air channels yet.
They still have 65 million cable subscribers.
Yeah. So I just
is not a small number.
So I don't understand what the point of this is now, and how. I mean,
maybe. I mean, for all we know, it's ingenious. I don't know.
Yeah, could be.
For all we know, it's ingenious. It just seems to me like it's not. I don't know.
I mean, the time is going to come when most people are streaming, yes, but and like I think we talked about this when it came out in June or whatever it was, that there is actually more streamers now than there are cable subscribers.
Yes.
But we're still not. I don't think we're anywhere close to the point where it becomes cost beneficial that becomes cost beneficial for ESPN, because I don't know how many people you're going to get to pay that much money for it.
I mean, look, they'll have NFL Network, SEC Network, ACC Network, ESPN, of course, the main channel, which really dedicates a ton of airtime as well. So I don't know. I don't know how this works out. And I would hope that this deal also means that Chris Hansen's involved. Because Scott Hansen's involved. And we've had Scott on the show, by the way. Scott is a tremendous, not just a good guy, he's a tremendous guy. And I think he is brilliant. Scott Hansen is brilliant at Red Zone. I mean, brilliant.
He did finally resign a couple months, early July or something, so.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It sounds like a lot of this is their app. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just. I don't know. They have been a baffling. They have been a baffling group that I think ESPN has tried to stay ahead of the curve the entire time. I give them credit for doing that, for trying to stay ahead of the curve the entire time. But that doesn't mean everything they're trying is working. I mean, SportsCenter is nowhere near what it was before. Their game broadcasts are good. Baseball's too analytics heavy in some ways. You notice they kind of backed off a little bit on some of the analytics this year because they knew it was getting people were like, oh, what the heck is all this stuff on the screen? So they've kind of backed off on that. Their NBA coverage is, to its credit, is over the top because, they're spending so much money on it. They need to keep pushing it day after day. And so I give them credit for understanding they've got to keep pushing it. And the NFL, but you watch their ancillary shows, inside the NFL, inside the NBA, whatever, and they're just filling time.
Well, they buried their best NFL show to 2:00 in the morning on Saturdays. That Edge NFL matchup show. I don't even know if that's still on.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they're just they just fill a lot of time, and the highest paid employee yells a lot.
It's like here.
Oh wow, that was just crushing.
I was going to say it's late. It's late on a Friday. I'm making suit jokes now.
Yeah, way to go, man. You're making suit jokes now. It's great. He still thinks he's over at the amusement park.
They didn't tell him.
Now you're replacing him next week on the golf tournament?
I am. I am the fourth for the Sunbury Broadcasting team.
And who's on your team?
It is me, Chad Evans, Drew Kelly, and the Chief, Dave Ritchie.
Chad Evans can play, right?
Yes, he can.
He can really play.
I hope that's a lot of weight for him to carry between Dave, Drew, and I. I'm
with, I think, Craig and Bill Purdy, Steve Engel. We refer to as the Dream Team.
I found out my boss at the paper is playing too. So there's going to be a pile of us.
Okay, so the boss is playing in it. So if you beat them out, is your excuse going to be the other guys just played great? I would never go. I would never beat you, boss. Never. Oh, goodness gracious. But that's going to be next Wednesday. I always look forward to that every year.
We got a phone call, Steve.
Oh, okay. Hello. Who do we have?
This is Bob from Hanover. How are you doing?
Hi, Bob. How are you today? It's such a pleasure. I hope you're feeling really well, my friend.
I am. Ready for football season.
Aren't we all? It was great being out there the last couple of days.
My question's about the temporary bleachers they're putting on top of the west side.
Sure.
And I saw some recent pictures of it. It looks pretty good. The only thing that I have a question about is it didn't look like they're putting, like, there's a bleacher seat for your butt and one for your feet, but are they putting a backstop to that so you can't drop anything underneath it? It looked like it was still open. I hope they plan to put something there to fill the gap up.
Underneath the seats, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, well, they're not quite done putting it all in yet.
Oh, okay.
I mean, in other words, they've got the shells up for it, and now they're putting in the seating and and the footrests and things like that are all being done. So
yeah, I saw the footrests were in, but it looked like, when you have your feet down on the feet rest, if you kick your feet back, it was an opening there. So I do hope they plan to do that because those things are pretty high up.
Oh, no, I think
down and.
Oh, believe me, they're going to do everything they can to make sure it's not going to be an issue.
Well, I was just curious. I didn't see anything done with that, so it just made me want to ask a question.
Yeah, I mean, look, they're not quite done yet. And I'll tell you right now, and I know, like, for example, my area is not quite done either.
Well, that's important.
my area, I mean, the broadcast booth.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
But you've got, I would say in 2 weeks, Bob, they'll have it done. And I know the team's going to go in there and practice 3 times at least in the stadium over the next couple of weeks. So I'll get a good look as to what it looks like from down there.
All right. Yeah, I was just curious about that.
Yeah, no, it's a good question.
At the end of the season, it would be nice if they can just lift them off and put them somewhere so they don't have to rebuild it again for next year.
Well, I think it's going to stay up there, and they're going to build around. They're going to build around it.
Interesting.
Yep.
Well, I'm glad I'm not in charge of that. I wouldn't know what the heck I'm doing.
Look, let me put it this way. They point me toward the field I talk. I'm a broadcaster, not an engineer, even though my mother wanted me to be an engineer.
And they point me to the stands and I cheer. So
there you go. Yeah, hopefully we both do well. So.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Bob. That's a good question. Yeah, it's It is. They're not quite done yet. If they were done, and I'd agree with Bob's assessment of it, but they're not finished with it yet. I mean, they're still doing a lot of work up there. I will say this: they have made remarkable progress in a short period of time. And remember, too, this is the group that does the Waste Management Open. This is also the group that put up the temporary seating at Northwestern as well. They specialize in this. They're good at it. So, yeah. So let's see what the finished product looks like. But they're getting there. Now, Todd's going to be on the other side. Luxury.
Not unless I get a ticket for one of your tickets for it.
Yeah. So, Yeah.
Or I meet some friends I don't currently have.
Oh, you'll have lots of friends.
Yeah, but I don't have anybody that has a luxury box at Beaver Stadium yet.
Eventually. Yeah. Because you're usually run with the Chateaubriand crowd, right?
Just don't ask me how to spell it.
Just have to say it.
Yeah, I just have to say it.
Oh, God. So, well. Tomorrow will be media day. James will give a read on the team. But then the coordinators will give a read and as well. And that's going to be interesting, especially listening to it's a second year for Andy Koltanicki. So he's got a real feel already for what he has. And for Jim Knowles, fresh eyes and a way he wants to play. Incredible. And then Justin Lustig, they are putting a heavy, heavy, heavy emphasis on special teams. So.
I don't know. I was reading a story today about, and I don't know if you can say anything, but apparently I was reading today that they have a punter from Ireland coming in. I believe it's next year.
Yeah, I can't talk about anybody.
I was going to say.
You can give players money now, but the announcers still can't say the name of a player that hasn't signed yet. That's giving them money's fine, but you can't talk about somebody that hasn't signed yet. Okay.
Well, apparently, there's a guy in Ireland that decided that the Gaelic football kids would be good kickers in football, and is taught them how to kick. And there's 4 of them now. I think I read. Well, one's going to be at Maryland this year. He transferred from Richmond to Maryland. And then this kid's supposedly the best, and he's coming to Penn State next year. Like they all came to, I think it said, that James Carroll University last summer, and a bunch of college coaches came to watch him punt and kick off.
Well, remember, this was the trend, of course, has been with Australian punters. Yeah. And, of course, Riley Thompson's here. But now, I remember when we went to Ireland 11 years ago, we were given demonstrations on Irish hurling and Gaelic football. And when it comes to Gaelic football, they pound that thing. And Gaelic football is the most popular sport in Ireland. Irish hurling is second. Believe it or not, soccer's third. Maybe even fourth behind golf.
I was going to say, they call Gaelic football a combination of soccer and football. That sounds like it would be fun to watch.
Oh, no. I mean, I found it fun to watch. Now, hurling I knew about. And one of the great stories is that they had the Irish national goalkeeper, and the Penn State players were allowed to take shots right? And he's over there and they're like banging this thing as hard as they think they're hitting it. Like bang, bang. And he's just standing there like on save, 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 save. I walked over to James and I said, you know what bothers me about that dude? He says, what? I said, he's just toying with us. He says, yeah. He said, that's a big problem. I mean, I can assure you, you want to know how many goals were scored with all these guys taking shots?
Guessing 0?
None. And I'm talking, he looked bored. He's like, yeah, bum, 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 bum. Then the Gaelic football thing was fun to watch because since we were over there, they wanted us to learn more about the sports they love. And I thought that was pretty cool. Micah Parsons asking for a trade. And by the way, Marcus Stroman's been released by the Yankees. Gone. Abruptly terminated.
I think the last I saw him pitch against the Phillies, and I saw him pitch against the Mets, and 91 mile-an-hour meatballs do not work anymore in the MLB.
You know, you're such a downer.
I know.
Such a downer. So Luis Heel, by the way, who's scheduled to come off the injured list, they think he's going to make his debut against the Marlins on Sunday. But Marcus Stroman, gone. Todd Hummel, Monday, back.
Tony Knopp, 235.
Tony just texted me last week. He was having a dinner in Los Angeles, and he with a mutual friend of ours. He wanted to text me, get a hold of me. He said, oh, yeah. He says, hopefully you can carve out time when you come to Los Angeles for lunch. I said, I wrote it in pen. He's one of the great guys, Tony. Unbelievably great guy.